Hello everyone, my name is Coralthea, and welcome back to another video. Once again, we are talking about the internet's least favorite game ever, which I am unfortunately a big fan of. I, however, as previously mentioned, do not support the creator and only engage in fan works of the series, such as mod projects, fan games, and much like what this video is, character redesigns. For some background, I found this game back when it was in its early development, so around 2014 to 15. I fell in love with the rivals and characters, despite how simple and poorly written they are, especially nowadays, 12 years later. However, I stopped following the game when I discovered the creator's weird fan fiction and general fiction. He had some interesting writing choices and depictions of women. This was before he got called out for far worse actions, which I don't feel confident talking about myself, and also so early in the video, so I have linked a video below if you are curious or need a refresher. That being said, I still loved these characters. I have for a while, and I thought it would be fun to try my hand at creating my own rewrite and redesign series. So that's what we will be starting today! A lot of my redesigns are based on what I think looks and sounds good for the characters, based on my own understanding of them, or how I think they could be improved on. They will also be drastically changed in appearance, as they are redesigns of characters, not just headcanon additions. If you do not like proper redesigns or story rewrites that drastically change the story, I recommend you stop watching this video and don't engage with this project. I am all for feedback, but I don't want to hear it if all you have to say is, "You changed Ayano too much! She isn't Ayano anymore!" Newsflash. That's the point. I will also be changing the school uniforms. I'll flash those on the screen real quick, and the names of both the locations and the characters in the school will have actual names, not just this. I have 15 designs to get through, so this will likely take a bit for the second or third video to come out. Please be patient with me, but I hope the wait is worth it. With that being said, let's start with the girl who started it all, Yandere-chan. First things first, as previously mentioned, I changed her name, introducing Ayano Aishi. Her name is probably the goofiest of all my redesigns, as I actually really like the Aishi family name scheme, being the Japanese words for weapons or specific Japanese weapons. So Suyari is named after a traditional type of spear. Another one of my big changes is I actually made Suyari autistic. Before you come at me, I am autistic. I am not saying this is why she's violent or misunderstood, just an extra layer to her character that gives her a reasoning for why she's so, in quotations, emotionless. She has a hard time understanding both her own and the emotions of others, and masks this by replicating what she sees her peers doing, like you can do in-game with the personas and the mirror. This is also why my redesign of Suyari has headphones. They're noise-canceling headphones, but she has customized them to fit her aesthetic more. I gave Suyari more of an alternative spin in her fashion choice with dark eyeshadow, black nail polish, a demonic theme, and ripped tights, as I thought this reflected her odd nature and made her stand out more among her classmates. Her red eyes are from her father and are natural, but I have a demonic twist to them thanks to the Aishi condition, which is more of a prepper curse now than just being emotionless. The Aishi condition has changed to be a two-parter for the combined effort of demons and vampires, because, fun fact, the Aishis used to be monster hunters until they got cursed. Something I wish got explored more outside of set dressing and through forgettable minigames. Anyway, the Aishis must find their soulmate by the age of 30, or else they will die. They, however, have many soulmates, and it doesn't just have to be romantic. So, while it is a daunting task, it is mostly doable. The second half of the curse is something more or less only the vainest of Aishis care about. If you do not take the lives of others, you will physically age much faster and lose the natural beauty the Aishis have maintained for hundreds of years. This is something Suyari doesn't really care for, but her mother did, and Suyari wants nothing more than to gain her mother's adoration. Back to Suyari in full. Ryoba wasn't the best mother, as she cared more about maintaining her youth and her husband's love than she did raising her daughter, who turned out to be weird. The only thing Ryoba seemed to like about Suyari is how fascinated with murder she was, and often educated her on all the tips and tricks about committing murder without a trace. This sparked Suyari's fascination in true crime, which actually caused her to befriend the most popular boy in her class, Saitoshi Yamada, who was secretly fascinated with true crime media himself. The two quickly hit it off and became fast friends when Suyari realized she had found him. Her soulmate. She wasn't doomed! She could impress her serial killer mother. She could be the best Aishi there ever was! It was all perfect, until she started to notice she wasn't the only one who had Saitoshi's attention. She had competition, and she needed to dispose of them before they became an even bigger threat to her condition and curse, even if she had to break the moral codes of those she loved in order to achieve her goals. Speaking of Saitoshi Yamada, it's time for his redesign. I wanted him to look softer and nerdier, someone who did get bullied during middle school but has managed to find a friend group and even somehow become one of the most popular boys in school, due to his kind nature and love of literature. He often helps out students with their homework and even volunteers at the library. He's perfect, but under a lot of pressure as his family falls apart, which is why he looks so tired and has some white hairs. His perfect appearance at school is only a mask as he tries to keep his fractured family together as best as he can. His fascination with true crime became his escape from his two realities, going from someone who enjoyed murder mysteries to the true horror of the human mind. This fascinated him and allowed him to find people who cared about him for more than just his reputation and skills, and more for his actual interests and who he actually is. He feels safe and secure, but something feels wrong. Suddenly, the people around him are changing or vanishing in ways that are so unnatural, he's now on the case. If no one will give him a straight answer, he will find it on his own. And if his podcasts have taught him anything, it's that he should trust his eyes and gut over the words of others, especially authority figures. And he's not going to put this case to rest till he finds who's pulling the strings and changing things so rapidly and destructively. I thought it would be an interesting challenge if the love interest you are killing for is aware something is wrong and is actively trying to figure out what's going on. You'd have to dissuade him from investigating and trick him with other scenes to get away with your crimes. This, however, would only happen after the 5-week mark, as I think the extra challenge wouldn't fit the easier weeks. But I think having to work to hide your crimes even more from your beloved investigating both adds to his character and adds to the gameplay, turning him from an emotionless prop to a proper obstacle that you have to work against in order to win the game. He, however, is just one dude, and he is working solely alone because he doesn't trust anyone else will want to help him. Because what if they think he's insane? What if they think he's the true culprit? Back to more of his design takes, I gave him a pink cardigan because I thought it would be really cute, and honestly, I think he looks good in pink. I thought it would be nice if this was his favorite color to kind of go against the whole, macho, basic man. He's a dude who likes the color pink because pink is a really good color. Come on, guys. I gave him a white dahlia in his hair because originally I thought I was going to make him a part of the gardening club, but I think now it's just he has a flower in his hair. Why not? Maybe he's part of the gardening club, maybe he's not. If he was, he'd be the only boy, but who cares? Like I said, I gave him some white hairs because he's stressed out because his parents are divorcing and his sister is a rebellious nightmare who we will get into later because she is one of the rivals. So he's struggling. As for his book, I thought it would be cute if he was holding it because he is kind of a nerd, he loves literature, but you can't see it right yet. But on the book, I actually put some spider lilies on the book, which we see a lot in the game around the cherry tree, and red spider lilies are pretty and really fun to draw, and I feel like they fit the themes of the game as they often symbolize death, and he likes true crime and murder mysteries. So, that's Satoshi Yamada, and I hope you like his look as much as I do, and I hope I explained my thoughts for the character well. Moving on to our next main character. A character beloved by the... Wait. What's going on? This isn't Who's Next? Huh? What if a girl from our world, who is a fan of the Sakura High game series, found a cursed disc and was transferred into her beloved media? That's what happened to Haruka Midoriya, and she couldn't be happier. She had been following the game's egregiously long development, and finally saved up enough money to get it when it finally came out, only to wound up as a student in said game. Despite the strange circumstances, Haruka quickly found her place and befriended her favorite characters, using her new powers that allowed her to manipulate the game's code to get her anything she wanted and ensure that Suyari couldn't destroy her existence. Instead, striking up a deal that she could get Suyari anything she desires, as long as she promises to only kill the rivals and no one else. I thought this would be a fun spin on Midori's character. To have someone aware that they are in a video game and give them honestly some overpowered skills due to her own understanding of the game and knowledge of code. She is an obstacle, but also an ally that can get you some important tools for mechanics. Think like InfoChan's store, but instead it's Haruka who just codes your needed contraband in. And a new take on a character that isn't just someone named Green with a stolen design. I wonder who did that. I made her design more quirky and odd. She knows she's in a video game, so she's customized her avatar as much as she could, looking like someone's original character than an actual video game character, or an actual student at Sakura High. I also think Haruka would refer to the player directly and would be happy to engage with someone human finally. Even if she enjoys being in the video game, it can get really lonely when everyone's interaction is just strings of code and pre-recorded conversations. While she has no plans of escaping, she would be delighted if the player offered to help her. Even if she doesn't accept right away, the idea that someone actually sees her, sees that she's human and not just another character, brings her so much joy. She's a deeply sad character, even if she puts on this mask of pure delight being in her favorite game. She's been in this game for far too long, and it's starting to get old. Even if every player plays differently, the characters are all the same. I gave Haruka's design some really interesting elements. She uses a lot of green. I mean, her last name is Midoriya. That's kind of to be expected. But I wanted to kind of emulate the fact that she's not from this world. Her eyes are weird. Her outfit is weird. She doesn't look like someone who should belong in the game, because she obviously doesn't. Her jacket references coding. Her eyes are supposed to be cubes. She has so much elements in her design that wouldn't match up with even what the students are wearing. Even if they're less strict with their uniforms, she's obviously engaging with the fun uniform designs that she never got to experience in real life, with dyed hair, shoes that don't match, painted nails, makeup. She just had so much fun customizing her avatar, and now she's scared to leave, because what if she doesn't look like this anymore? What if she has to go back to her boring life? What if no one remembers her? Moving on to our next main character, a character beloved by the community, whom many wish stayed as a rival, as her story was both interesting and she had a unique schedule that brought her to life. That's right, we're talking about Kokona Katao! The only child of a single father in debt, she's often taking up odd jobs around town to both pay her tuition and her father's debt. She is also Suyari's best friend. They met in middle school and have been inseparable ever since. She introduced Suyari to the world of true crime as it lined up with her own interest in murder mysteries and tragedies, something she specifically started to love as she started to explore the world of theater. Kokona recently joined the drama club after Suyari and Saki, her other best friend, urged her to try out. But unfortunately, she's only a stagehand as she's not the most, in quotations, conventionally attractive. This, however, has not deterred Kokona, who keeps perfecting her acting, and is now working to write her own play about a serial killer who navigates the world and gets away with her crimes. What Kokona doesn't realize is she's basically putting together the story of Suyari's mother. This is something Suyari actively tries to push her away from as Kokona tells her of her newest scenes. But Kokona doesn't understand why Suyari is desperately trying to stop her from producing her life's work. I kept Kokona pretty similar to her in-game counterpart with the twin purple drills and the roses in her hair, but as someone who hates the same eye color, hair color mess, unless it's brown eyes, as that does happen in real life, I gave her brown eyes. I also gave her much looser drills based on some of my official pieces of artwork, which I believe are made by B-Drops, which you can also see being used as a reference image for the speed paint. I made her roses gold as I thought they fit better with her hair color, and her nails are also gold to match. Kokona has a very classy and royal color scheme, which doesn't match her very sweet and innocent personality, as I thought it was a nice juxtaposition. This also because while she isn't a rival in this rewrite, she was the first original rival, a legacy character, even if she's now just an NPC. She's still important narratively and to the community, so I wanted to reflect that through her redesign and through my rewrite. She's one of the most important people in Suyari's life, being her best friend, and one of the few people in school who doesn't mind her quirks. Although, she would definitely be horrified if she saw Suyari commit murder or found her at the scene of the crime. She might be her best friend, but she doesn't want to be friends with a cold-blooded murderer. On to our last character, the elusive Info-chan, also known as Miharu Higakure, the vice president of the newspaper club and the biggest hater within Sakura High. She has a hit list for sure, but much like most of the information she's managed to dig up about most of the school population, it's kept under wraps. Her info is a bargaining chip, not something she gives freely. Since I think the canon hatred against Osana is dumb, but an interesting concept, I changed the rival Miharu hates and wants Suyari to deal with. The newspaper club president has her ire. She would love nothing more than to destroy her, but everyone knows Miharu has disdain for her club leader, and what she chooses to be put in the school paper. So she hands off her dirty work to Suyari, who already despises the newspaper club leader for catching the attention of her beloved Saitoshi. You will learn more about this character in a later video, as she is one of the rivals. Miharu started working with Suyari early on, however, as she found evidence of Suyari disposing of her first rival, which is Amai in my rewrite, as Saitoshi's childhood best friend feels too important to be the first and easiest rival, and ends up helping her get information and blackmail on her rivals, but for a price. She won't tell anyone what Suyari did and about the true nature of the Aishi family, something she quickly gained access to be used, of course, as a bargaining chip. If Suyari helps her get rid of her despicable club leader, she will wipe the record completely clean about the Aishi's family crimes. Although it's unlikely she actually holds this power, Suyari doesn't know that. Miharu is manipulative and spiteful, who uses people as her pawns, and Suyari is no exception, despite the friendship they have started to form over the many months their project takes place. I just realized I didn't go into the design aspects of Miha. Why am I struggling with her name? Miharu. So let's do that now. Lightning round. I gave her pants purely because I think they suit her journalism aesthetic more, and also why not? Girls can wear pants. While she dyes her hair red, it is clearly in need of a touch-up as she's spending too much time getting information and working on the school paper to keep her appearance all neat and tidy. She is extremely pale as she often spends time indoors in the dark newspaper club room, and the only properly maintained part about her is her glasses, as she needs to see them to scout out information and blackmail. She blends into the school as her color scheme is very similar to the school's uniform and main colors, which work in her favor, of course, as she is a sleuth by nature. I thought these would all be really interesting elements and would develop her more as a character, and instead of just the lady in the dark schoolroom who drops things out of the window for you and also tells you, I know you're watching. Info-chan is a really interesting character to me, and I feel like she just doesn't get the actual time to be an interesting character, as she is literally just a storefront. And that's a shame, because there's so much you can do with this type of character. So that's exactly what I did, completely axing the info club room and giving the school newspaper back, as I thought that would fit more of the school. It's not a traditional newspaper anymore, as it's hosted online, but they still have an entire club room for it, and they do often gather information around there. While Miharu is not specifically the editor she does want to be, she actually specifically works on the advice column, which I thought would be an interesting take for the character who literally knows everything about all of the students. Like, she's perfect for this. But no one knows why, because she doesn't reveal her true nature unless she's using you as a pawn. And that is Miharu Higakure. And with that, we are done. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk while I design these characters. I'm going to toss them on screen now for you to see them in their full glory while I finish up talking about the video. I had a lot of fun working on this project and finalizing these designs for these characters that mean so much to me, and it means so much to me that you stayed for the whole video too, considering how long it is. I would appreciate it if you could like and subscribe, and if you made it to the end, please let me know who your favorite redesign is and who you are most excited for me to redesign next, as I have 10 more characters to get through, all being the rivals, of course. And with that, have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are in the world. Coralthea out!